Hi, my name's John Gifford, and I've put together a series of short videos which will hopefully take you through the basic techniques and give you some help on how to paint some simple landscapes in watercolour. So what are the techniques you need to learn? So here's a sheet with the 5 basic techniques that I give to my students. Tonal values, mixing colours, brush strokes, creating depth and contrast. And if you can manage to get some of these techniques into your paintings, it won't be long before you're soon producing paintings of a similar nature to these ones, with plenty contrast, tones, brush strokes, etc. So what I'll plan to do is, for each of the techniques, I plan to have a short 10-minute video for that particular technique, which will hopefully simplify rather than try and tackle them all at the one go. So let's get started. Now here's a simple little exercise that I give to my students when the beginners start along. And this one is tackling the subject of tonal values. Now this little exercise here, as you'll see, is done using one colour only. And the beauty about this is that you learn how to put in things like different tonal values, different colours, strength of colour, sorry. Now, what do we mean by tonal values? I've just done the back here, I've turned this over. I use a simple little chart here for my students when they start the class. And this colour is burnt umber here, and these are all burnt umber colours. But as you'll see, they have different, what we call tonal values. And this is the strongest up here, starting at a 10 and working down to the 2s and the 1s at the bottom. So this is the darkest dark, thick paint with very little water. But if you keep adding water to the colour, you'll see that it starts to get lighter. And we come down to what I would call the halfway stage here. And if you add more water, it starts to get lighter and lighter. So why do we need tonal values? Well, if you're doing landscape paintings, you need to have the softer, lower value colours in the distance. These middle tone value 5s and 6s, they're in the middle of the painting, and the foreground has the strong dark colours, the 8s, 9s and 10s. So let's have a quick go at this one, and we'll see if we can do it in the 10 minutes. I'm just actually going to set my mobile phone to 10 minutes. So I've pressed to start and off we go. So I'm going to quickly draw this sketch in. I've got just turn the page up a bit and bring it in slightly so you can see it clearer. There we are. Right, so I'm starting off with a horizon line. I'm going to draw the house in the centre here. And there's 1 or 2 trees in the side of this house. There's a hill in the background. Another one over the side here, and more trees. And there's a farm road coming up to the house. And there we are. I'm just going to put a couple of little windows in and a door. Right, so let's get started. So what I want to do first is now I'm just going to swing the camera around here to let you see my paints. The reason I'm doing this is some of the videos I produced before, some people said it would have been good if they could have seen me mixing up the colours, which is a very valid point, so This is the colour that you will be using, burnt umber. It's the only colour. Now this is a really low value colour that I want for the sky, a low tone. And I'm just going to swing round again and quickly start to paint the sky in. So I've got a big flat 3/4 brush here, just filling it in with the colour I mixed up. This would be about a 2 value, very low, not much actual colour. It's quite a lot of water with the burnt umber, and that's fine. Don't worry about painting over the hills of that, because that will be slightly darker. Now I need to let that dry, so I'm going to skip down the page a bit and paint the foreground, the field. So I'm just going to, like you see again, I'm just going to use some of that colour and just make it slightly darker, up to about a 4 value. I'm going to paint the foreground in here. Again, I've got the big flat brush. I'm going to have to move here. I'm just looking at my watch. It's about 6.5 minutes to go. So I'm just going to paint the centre of this a bit, just to suggest it's an old road with cars or tractors or something been going up to the house. Now, what I want to do is, this is actually where you could use a hairdryer. I just want to speed the drying up of this, but I'm just going to paint over it just now. But if you wanted hard edges, this is something else we need to learn in the basic techniques, but we'll come to that with other series of the videos, so just leave it just now. So what I'm going to do is I just need to mix up a slightly darker brown, and I'll just let you see this again. It's just slightly darker, and I'm using a smaller brush this time, and I'm going to paint this in just like so. So you can see slightly different. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Again, just slightly darker. Now I'm just going to let this dry again, because I need to come back and do some hard edges. But in the meantime, I'm going to paint the roof. Now if you remember this, look at the colour of that roof. That's the dark I was talking about. That's the 9 or the 10 value. So I just really want to get some pure paint almost, and I'm just going to paint this in. Now look at that lovely colour, tonal value, very dark. And now you'll notice that I've left 1 or 2 little bits, quite like that, rather than just fill it all in. Now I'm just going to come back to the trees, or this area here and this area here. So this colour or tonal value will be get up to the mid-tones, about the 5s and 6s. So I'll let you see this again. I'm just going to use a slightly bigger round brush. This one here. A little bit more water, and there we go. So I'm going to use that as we go back to the scene and paint this in. Now, just want to create a bit of contrast here. We'll talk about that in one of the other videos, but I just want to get this all blocked in quickly. Starting to move quite quickly. I am not going to do this in 10 minutes. I think I've got about 3 minutes left. So I just want to speed up a little bit. Now, here's a good bit here to get some contrast. I want to put some trees in there to help. That helps this, not that. Right, okay, that's good. Well, you never know, I might make it. We've got 2.5 minutes. Right, so I'm just going to use some of that colour again to suggest some shape in the fields. I'm just going to put some curves in here, little mounds. Now, what we do is you can't leave that like that. You need to soften off the bottom edge. Leave the top part, that's fine, but soften off that area. Right, the sun is coming from the left hand side, so I want to keep that white. Just want this to be in the shade a little bit. So I'm just going to use a little bit of a tonal value that I had in the palette. And there we are. Right, so that's not too bad. So I'm quickly going to race through this. Right, I just want to put some little marks down the side of the track to suggest the path area. Don't want to make it like a set of tram lines, so just be careful. Don't want to fill it all in. I'm going to make this slightly stronger now. I want to suggest some little bits of tufty bits of grass. So this tonal value is about a 6 or a 7 now. Just some rough edges to suggest it's in the field. And what I'm going to do now is get some thick dark paint again, just let you see the strength of this. And I'm going to put a little fence down here, and I'm going to put some trees in the foreground. And you can see how that's starting to create some depth in the painting. I'm going to put some over this side. I'm going to put some really dark ones at the side of that house. And there we go. You can see I'm doing this very quickly. Right, let's that's my phone stopped. 10 minutes are up, so I need to cancel it if I can. So I'll give myself another minute, it's not too bad. So what I want to do is just create some nice finished trees here. Very quickly drop some tall fir trees. Maybe another one here. You can see it's a very loose technique. And I'm just going to put one in there. Right, I'm going to put some over on the other side. Another little tree here. As we go through the series of videos, I'll show you the technique for a lot of these. Right, just about getting to the end. It's about a minute, so it's not too bad. Right, I just want to put a little shadow in for the window here, window there, and the door. And I'm going to I think that's about it. No, it's not. Two little things. I'm just going to quickly show you how to paint a man and his dog. His stick, and here's his little dog. So there we are. And just before we finish, I'm going to use that colour and put in a little cloud up in the sky. Put some shadow on that side, and that will probably do. Soften this off again, and there we go. I'd just like to put in a really strong dark to suggest that hedge, that fence, but this is still wet. This again, you should, that's better. There we go. It's drying now, so we're getting the, see the difference with the strong colours. Just going to put a little bit.